Welcome to Live, Breathe Yoga, a show dedicated to inspiring your practice and elevating your mind, body, and soul. Today on Case Study, we learn about do-it-yourself beauty and hygiene products. Coming up later in the show, get your mats ready for Strike a Pose, where we discover how to connect with a patient practice. Don't forget to stay tuned for Yoga Bites, where we share our recipe of the day. We have a great show in store for you, so stay connected for more Live, Breathe Yoga. Mudra is the Sanskrit word for gesture and is used to deepen your awareness and concentration during your practice. It can involve a combination of asana, also known as postures, breathing techniques, locks, and visualization, or it can be as simple as a change in hand position. The word yoni means womb or source. Yoni Mudra invokes the primal energy inherent in the womb, the source of creation. This meditative mudra redirects the prana or life force emitted by the hands back into the body. Last season, we discovered the holistic technique of oil pulling, where we take a spoonful of coconut oil in our mouth and pull it through the teeth as a form of dental hygiene. Today, we're going to work with the same ingredient with this homemade toothpaste. All you need is mix it all up in a mini mason jar and voila! Do-it-yourself toothpaste. This should be good for another 6 months, so be sure to label it. Now, let's give it a try. I use the back of my toothbrush to collect the toothpaste, like so. And then I use the side of the jar to kind of pat it onto the toothbrush. I actually like this version better than oil pulling. Coming up after the break, Strike a Pose. Stay connected. Welcome back. In Strike a Pose, we're offering postures along with their modifications so you can safely practice at home or at the studio. We're gonna start with our downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, Lee is finding length on all sides of his neck, pressing into the pads of his fingers, base of your index finger, knuckle, and thumb. This is a problem that most people encounter when they first connect with this pose, is that all of the pressure starts to reside in the wrists. Now, in pressing into the pads of your fingers, pressing into the base of your index finger and thumb, maybe even the outside of your hand, that disperses the weight across the rest of your hand and away from your wrists, and you'll find that you'll start to strengthen in your forearms as well. So that's what Lee's connecting to right now. One of the things to also look at here is finding an external rotation of your upper arm, and what that does, it gives you space between your ears and your neck. What can happen in this pose is your shoulders draw inwards, and you'll notice that it draws his shoulders up to his ears. So finding that external rotation of your upper arm gives that length on all sides of the neck. scooping out your lower abdomen, energetically drawing into the base of your big toe, base of your pinky toe, as well as your heel. Even though your heel might not be able to touch the ground, if you want to energetically draw that to the earth, you can connect with that stretch in your hamstrings. Now, Kate here is demonstrating what this pose would look like if you're feeling a little less open in your hips. So she's going to bend her knees. And in bending your knees, this is totally fine. This is a great way to connect with the pose. You're still connecting with the stretch in your hamstrings, but what Kate is connecting with still is that beautiful length along her spine. And then from here, we're gonna move into plank pose. So in your plank pose, hinging forward, shoulders are over your wrists, scooping out your lower abdomen, and observing that same connection in your hands, because now more pressure is in your hands, pressing into the pads of your fingers, base of your index finger, knuckle, and thumb. Now, what can happen in this pose is your shoulders start to wing out, and Lee's demonstrating this right now here. So noticing his shoulders are winging out, he's really not connecting with the bigger muscles. And to do that, you want to press your spine to the sky, engage the bigger muscles on your back, your latissimus dorsi, your trapezius, as well as your rhomboids. These muscles will help you connect with this pose a little bit longer with a little bit more ease. Now, Kate is demonstrating what this pose looks like if you're not able to stay in the pose or connect with a fuller expression of the pose. This is a really great way to connect with the plank pose if you're just starting out. And again, she's gonna press the floor away from her so that the bigger muscles on her back are being engaged. And you wanna find that straight line from your shoulder down to your knee. Lee right now is in a child's pose, and this is a pose that you can connect to at any time throughout your practice if you need to take a little bit of a breather, if you need to reset so that you can come back into the practice. So coming from a modified plank pose with her knees down to the ground, Kate's gonna lower with her chin and her chest for this variation of her Chaturanga Dandasana. So this is a nice, safe way to connect with the pose. It's a lot less intensity at the shoulders. She's got her chin touching the ground, her chest touching the ground, her hands are underneath her shoulders, and her hips are high. And then from here, we're gonna show with Lee what this pose looks like. Shoulders are away from his ears. He's got a nice 90-degree angle with his arm. And then from here, both of them are gonna come up into an upward facing dog. Now, Kate's demonstrating what this looks like if you're not able to connect with the upward facing dog. Lee is connecting with the full expression, so the tops of his feet are pressing into the earth, his thighs are lifted, legs are straight, shining his heart towards the top of his mat, and again, finding that external rotation of the upper arm, so you're really finding that openness across the front side of your chest. Kate is connecting with a cobra pose. So her thighs are connecting to the ground, nice gentle back bend, hands are forward from the shoulders, length on all sides of your neck. So both are totally suitable. And then from here, I'm gonna get both Kate and Lee to demonstrate what this can look like if it's sequenced together. So this is a lovely vinyasa. So from here, I'm gonna cue as I would in a class, and Kate's gonna demonstrate what it would look like if she needed to make modifications throughout the entire practice. So hinging forward into a plank, lower chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, exhale, downward facing dog. And noticing this again, if your instructor is offering the poses, you can always connect with your expression of the pose. Remember, with a patient practice, you can connect with your full expression of each pose at your own pace. I want to thank Kate and Lee for being with me today. Coming up next, Yoga Bites. Namaste. Manipura, lustrous gem of the city, also known as the sacral chakra. Nuts and seeds are great to snack on and even add to recipes like salads. You may see cultures that use nuts in their meals, like the use of cashews in Indian food and peanuts in Thai and Filipino food. Did you know that there are enzyme inhibitors in nuts that can prevent the proper absorption of their nutrients? According to wellnessmama.com, soaking in a simple mineral solution like salt and low temperature dehydrating helps to break down much of the phytic acid and make the nutrients in the nuts and seeds more available to the body. Put the nuts or seeds in a jar, fill with filtered water, then add a tablespoon of salt. Soak for 7 hours, then dehydrate in the oven on the lowest setting until they've dried. Ta-da! Nutrient-rich pumpkin seeds. Now remember, if you have a favorite recipe, or maybe there's an Ayurvedic or holistic technique that you'd like us to try out on the show, feel free to post it on my Facebook page at kaye.yoga. Tune in next week for more Live, Breathe Yoga. Thanks for watching. Namaste.